Hello everyone who watches this. I don't have the illusions like a lot of people in the world that cares about what I say. Some people do because I don't say what I personally think or have the illusion. I actually God's yes God Himself. Oof, can't say that. You're not allowed to say that because God is absolute and things that we do today are wrong. Plus, nothing's gonna help. Today is Shvat, the 10th of the month of Shvat. Shvat indicates growth, regrowth. In it is the word tov, good, and goodness. What a nice piece. Anyways, the thing is that when we come to Shvat today, we are the luckiest people since the dawn of creation. Not because we did anything, well, a lot of us have as a result of Shvat did a lot of good things, even though their characters vary. A lot of things did enormous, beautiful, good things throughout the world, most impressive things because of this day. This day, our the rabbi of Chabad, whose name I don't dare mention, has become the Rebbe, the leader of the Lubavitch movement and the Judaism and Jews worldwide years ago. Now that's the change is that it's not just doesn't matter when he became in time in this case or space are not an issue. There's something above time which is called seder hazman, order of the time, which time and space or time and place are included in the same thing in the creation. They're equal. You measure distance by time and you measure time by distance. The point is that the Rebbe came to this world only for one thing, and nothing else. Not to have incredible Chabad houses, beautiful shuls all over the place, with rabbis with great rhetorical skills. They didn't come for that. He didn't come to create a situation where everybody admires him for what he is, the most amazing person and the highest level of individual ever been. No, he didn't care about that. He didn't care about anything else but the well-being and the welfare of the entire world. From tiny little people to giant angels. Somebody like the Rebbe, who is a unique, a one-time occurrence, has all the creation in mind. The purpose of the Rebbe, and still is today, regardless of the passing of time, I don't count the years. I don't care about the years. For me, the Rebbe is the only reality there is. The Rebbe wanted us to be better than we were before, to bring us to such a level of revelation of godliness or the godly soul within each person, Kohen Jew alike, non-Jew and Jew alike, in order to bring Mashiach. Messiah in English does not explain the word Mashiach, the anointed one. It's not just for the Jewish people, it's for everyone. God's secret for you. People want to ignore reality. They don't know it. I have this discussion with a very good friend. He wants me to do this, to do that. Oh, what's he talking about? Spirituality is not Judaism. Our job is to reveal godliness. All these books teaches us how not to do bad, to increase in good, and above all, to create a situation of peace. Shlemut, perfection, completion. It's not about getting richer. It's not about getting stronger. It's not about winning. There's no winning in Hashem's world because He's the absolute truth and the absolute power. How can anybody better than one? Nobody is better. And every situation, I hate this generation in a certain sense. Just hate it, even though I'm a Cohen. My whole job is to love. Everybody's such a whiner. Everybody whines that didn't get this, didn't get that, racism, this matter of life, this life. No, it doesn't. You're a good person or you're not. Yuchvat comes to tell us we all can be good. Not to choose the darkness of being presented to us. Kids in grade 3 are taught that they could be transgender. There's no gender. There are genders. And there are women and there are men. There's nothing wrong with a beautiful, nice lady or with a good man who does his job. What's wrong with being a man? What's wrong with being a woman? Why do you want to go into the darkest, dirtiest part of humanity? Kingdoms and countries were destroyed because of all this kind of stuff. God doesn't like it. And then he floods, makes fires, ask the Australians. And he changes countries. And he does a lot of things that we don't have any control over. Ask the Egyptians. The point what I want to make is New Shevat is a whole change in the paradigm, positivity. Not just that the Rebbe himself is the great person who actually sees a lot what God allows him, gives him the possibility to see and the possibility to act. That's not the point. The point that the Rebbe made, and this is the greatest thing of all, is he gave individuals such as me and you, or you and me, ability to reach the highest level of their abilities in holiness. That discussion with his friend, he says, well, his wife is not good. She doesn't get involved with the children. That's a crime. That's a crime. A child needs guidance. Children are not adults. They have to be forged and directed into becoming proper people, society, not dragged down to darkness, read terrible books, feel terrible emotions, be depressed because that's what they fill up their minds and hearts with. This is a dark period, but we hold the light. Light defeats any darkness. It's very important how you dress. It's very important how you speak. It all is indicative of where you're at spiritually, your mindset, your heart set, and so on. No, it's not all right. If a person brings into a good country people who don't know how to read and don't know how to work, and there's a lot of crime as a result, this is not right. There's no equality. Some people are more talented and have a better life. People are always thinking of life as something to do with financial standing. That, of course, it affects, but it's not the purpose of all. I had money, I had properties. To see nonsense. I don't have much money now. I have a lot of guitars and tons of books and these things and an ability to talk to people and help them should they want to be helped. Anyone who wants to be helped and comes to what I call the oasis for the soul, you should look in my website, oasis with a number 4, the soul, no spaces.com. Some student of mine showed up me awesome websites, lots of information in English and in Hebrew, and it's time for us to come home into the oasis from this terrible desert of lies. If we lie to ourselves, then we don't live a normal life. It's all fake news. I don't know why the Western media is so busy saying Russia is being defeated in Ukraine. Come on, be serious. The only defeat Russia has ever had was at the head of the German army in the Second World War. Yeah, the Russians did not win the war. The Americans did. The power of America did. And the fact that the Germans were being bombed on the West and had a two-front war. What the Wehrmacht did to the Red Army and to the Russians is unspeakable. Russians are not to be defeated so lightly, especially not by Ukraine. Besides, not our fight, is it? No. Why do we get in for? Instead of doing good, we're looking at all kinds of social media nonsense. It's very painful because, first of all, I saw some pictures recently by my friend who is from the Ukraine and reminded me of the war in Lebanon. But the point is destruction. Houses full. I don't know, remember the guy in Ukraine, he's at fault. He should give up. And the West should not mess up with Russia. It's going to cause disaster. Just leave Putin alone. Let him finish his job in the Ukraine and don't fight with the Russians. It's not a fight that anyone wants to get in. And we keep on lying to ourselves that Russia is weak. It's not. It's a giant country with a giant army, toughness like you won't believe, and many centuries of not being defeated. I would not go into this. But that's how my mindset is. A guy, not like me, comes, or a lady, comes to the microphone and utters all kinds of things. Huge fight is about positivity and go up. It's true, I live in Canada, I have Canadian citizenship, British and Israeli as well, and if I marry an American lady, I really want to get remarried. I've been waiting for too long. Yesterday, a good friend of mine died. And he wasn't married. He was a good friend. 55 years of friendship. It's so painful. Such a good man. Why did he have to be alone? Why did he have to die so young? Because we don't use the power of Yuchvat. Yuchvat is go up. Some businessmen discussed his business with the Rebbe. And the Rebbe asked him, among the other practical details, what is your goal? Where do you want to, how high do you want to achieve? So he said, until the sky, the Shamayim. The Rebbe says, Shamayim? Skies? There's Shmei Shamayim. There's several levels to Shamayim, above Shamayim. And above that there's more and more. What do you want to stop there? The same here with good. My eyes are not closed. I have Facebook. Well, I love tigers. That's what I watch. Love animals, especially cats. Big and small. Funniest animal, I grew up with cats. But I adore tigers. Well, I tell you why. A tiger is free, or a tigress. Of course, she's scared of the male. Who wouldn't be? The elephants are scared of the tigers. An adult tiger or tigress can eat their young. And they can make a whole herd of giant elephants run away. They hunt gores, Indian gores, huge bovines. Huge, enormous, up to a ton of muscles, alone. You know why? Because the tiger is fearless. He's free. Of course, the female is not, but not like him. He's bigger. She's not going to mess up with him. It's very dangerous. Yes, she will defend the cubs against an intruder, but she can pay with real injuries and death. He is the boss. He's free. He's not afraid of anything. That's how we should be. We should not have sins and bad thoughts and negativity and darkness inside of us. Yuchvat comes to liberate us from the confines and the prisons we put ourselves in. Instead of doing good, we're flying everywhere, wasting our time, wasting our money. Instead of thinking of good things, what we do, spend our money glorifying ourselves. One of the series I watched, I think it's called Blue Blood or whatever, there's a lot of humanity in this series. I don't believe it. I don't like television. But what I like about this particular, just watch to see what's going on, there's humanity there. The so-called cops and the so-called commissioner and whatever it is, they show, all the characters show that you can be a good person. That you can have discretion to do good. Justice is divine. It's not human. Yes, we have to judge according to what we see. But the whole idea of Yuchvat is to seek the good, ascend to such a level that you can do good, and ignore the calling of the negative inclination to do bad, especially in sexual relations. It's very hard. Today we tell women to be sluts. Sorry for the use of the word, but that's what we do. A 14, 15-year-old girl is allowed to do whatever she wants, walk like, I don't know, like a harlot on the street, have relations with whomever, and that's okay. It's not okay. We're violating the most important creation, women. Violating them. What a 14, 15, 16-year-old girl can do to a man in a club, he would be arrested for it. Walking around totally immodestly. None doesn't matter Jew or no Jew. Doesn't matter what you believe in. All these improprieties in the sexual area bring mayhem. I watched as an interest. I am a therapist and I am a social thinker. The highest level. I watch and I know things. And being an Israeli, I know how the media lies. For instance, this is something I always say. Where is Palestine? There is no Palestine. There was no Palestine. There'll be no Palestine. These are the collection of all kinds of people who came from various countries that happen to speak Arabic. They were brought by the various pechas of Turkey. They have no right to the Holy Land. Only we do. I got problems saying that. I speak Arabic. I have good relations with many Arabs. But this day and age, I see them as enemies. Who thinks they have the right to kill? We showed the world. We sure. Hashem gave us, God gave us the most powerful strength. Look at the Midrashim and the stories of the history of the Jacob and his sons, Yaakov, Vanav. We have always been the greatest warriors because God is with us. But we don't have to fight. We have to bring peace, completion, perfectness, willingly loving each other, deliberately working to be good. That's Shevat. In the summer, I visited my older sister in Israel. We both diabetic and she had some issues with it. I got word and thank God she's fine. But you see how it is. My good friend, he had some medical issues, but he just died. And I'm very close to the family. It was like a second home to me. And I tried to get him out of this rut, out of this being in the same places. One of the most talented, if not the most talented and knowledgeable, what's the English word for someone who releases goods in the ports in the airport. He was so good at it. There's specialities of certain things coming to Israel. He needed a special forms, and he knew it. Read it from his father and others. He was brilliant. It's just the only but he was known and didn't marry. He was alone. Had some medical issues, and yesterday he just left us. I think it's still a surprise, according to his brother and his sister. They're all shocked. I am too. Why am I bringing it up? First of all, that this video will be in his memory, Menashe ben Yosef, and in the memory of one of the greatest people, Hasidim, old religious Jew, lively, awesome individual, passed on the age of 85, Rav Chaim Shimon Gad Elituv, Zichrono Livracha, was a real inspiration. For me, a little bit, because I only met him. I know him very well, so his grandson and his son. But this man affected hundreds, if not thousands of people with love of a fellow Jew, a fellow person. He told me a story when I was watching over him some time ago in hospital. I'm a Kohen, it's not every place I can go. He said to me that he lost his cell phone. Now, being of Jewish Eastern descent, he spoke Arabic. And a cleaner, an Arab, came and said in a very respectful, he's a respectful person, very, Sidi, mister, is that your phone? He said, yeah, thank you, and blessed the guy. And he got into a discussion. And the poor Arab was telling him all his troubles, and he had a lot of troubles. One of the biggest troubles is from the terrorists who live around in that area, and the repercussions that come from the Israeli security forces, naturally, and not enough money, and difficult shifts in this. Rabbi Elituv put his hand on the shoulder of the supposed enemy and said in Arabic, God watches over us all. Just pray to him, believe in him, trust him, and he will help you. And he was telling me with such delight that his phone was returned. Now, what am I saying? I'm saying that Rabbi Elituv, and not only him, but very much more than most people, exemplified the idea of loving a fellow person, a fellow Jew and non-Jew alike. This is Shevat, emanating good, deliberately, working hard at it, not saying, oh, well, that's not my business. When I was in Beitar, I saw two Boys fight. Even religious boys sometimes fight. Nobody said anything. Everybody's looking. I came over, separated them. Said, what's the matter? Cut it out. And one said to somebody else, shut. You don't answer, you speak like that. That's it. I don't know their names. I don't know anything about it, but I separated them and sent them each on their own way. And there was no fight of them. 3 weeks after that, or whatever, I'm in one of the shops, and this young fellow comes to me and says, Shalom, Kvod Rabbi. Say, hey, what did I do? He said, yes, you separated me from fighting with my friend. I went home. Say, this guy doesn't know us. He's a Lubavitcher. We're not. And he said to me, when I said certain words, you said to me, that's how a Jew speaks about another one? What are you learning? What are you doing? What's that come from? Think about it. You can't do that. It's not good for you or him. I went home and told my father that a Lubavitcher rabbi separated us and gave me a chedek. Speech, how not to speak badly of someone else. I sleep last night. Nashik's passing was so difficult for me to accept. Because it's so sudden nature and Bechlan. He was younger, such a wonderful, talented individual. What a pain. Anyways, this young fellow says to his father, Slobavitcher guy stopped me and didn't reprimand me for saying something. My father, he says, took the Stania book, which is an essential book for the Lubavitcher Chassidim, and read me a few lines about Avas Yisrael. And he told me, this Rebbe, Yuchvat, became Rebbe and Yuchvat. That's what the boy tells me. And he instilled in his Chassidim that you don't only pray to God, learn his Torah, eat kosher, keep Shabbos. Your job is the other person. The other guy, the other lady, the little girl. That is what the Lubavitcher Rebbe instilled in the Chassidim of Lubavitch. Because the Tanya teaches us that you have power to reach highest levels of godliness. Because we have a godly soul. You don't mess up with a negative. That's the idea of Yuchvat. You don't fight it. You bring it up. You bring light, the darkness just disappears. Even in our days. And I see the change everywhere on YouTube. Suddenly, we're allowed to speak. You can't murder a Jew and not be punished. There's much more violence among the Arabs and themselves. Nobody speaks about it. Where is the Arab world? Huh? Couldn't. Gone. Haya. Isn't there anymore. Egypt crumbled. Syria is in shambles. Lebanon doesn't have electricity. Libya is destroyed. Jordan is in a mess. Where are all the great Arabs? The Jewish people don't have the same wild hatred of each other. How many Arabs have been murdered in Israel and in the surrounding areas all the time by other Arabs? That's not good for anyone. If we encourage violence and we create terrorism with a supposed political right, like what happened in South Africa, the lies that the whites took it from the blacks, it's not true. They were there before. Go to South Africa today. It's impossible to live there. And the political people, blacks, white, I don't care who goes there, steal and lie and whatever. We don't accomplish anything by having agendas. We only accomplish great things together. And I'll tell you a story what the Lubavitcher Rebbe and Yuchvat means as a person. I was a security guard. I was traveling on a light train in Jerusalem, and there were 5 Arab boys really bothering a young Arab married woman. I walked over. Why are you little Jew? I'm tiny, but I'm fierce. I'm a tiger. And I said in Arabic, what are you doing? Just saw a man coming. I was armed. Yeah, gas, gun, and fearlessness. I have no hesitation to use these things. And I said to them, there's a station, Al-Mahatat, انزلوا من Qatar. Get off the train now. All these brave Arabs filed out. Why? Because they did something wrong. Everyone has to be stopped in order not to do harm others and themselves. And I came to the lady. I spoke to her gently in Arabic. I'm not sure if she knew Hebrew. And I said to her if she's all right, if she needs anything. I gave her some water. She calmed down and she couldn't thank me enough. I said, lady, I will escort you until you need to get off this train. She said, you don't need to. I said, you never know. You're an Arab. You know how these people think. They're going to catch you and harm you, maybe. Anyways, I escorted her. She got off. And in the end, she blessed me. She was a religious young woman. She blessed me with a host of blessings because she told me she felt the first time she saw how a real Jew behaves, how a man behaves. You took care of me, you protected me, even though I'm an Arab woman. And I blessed her and their children and her family that they have a good life. There's a lot of good Arabs don't do any harm anyone, but I'm sorry, they're going to get swept in the punishment. There's not much you can do. Woe to the wicked, woe to his neighbor. And some Arabs who are gloating over a Jewish death. Wait. We hold the power, but we also hold the higher power, the power for good. Communication. Talk to each other. Be friendly. I went to an institution that helped me here in Montreal when I came. And I saw a lady there. I said, how are you? She said to her, she said, of course we do. We were in Mount Sinai together. Do we need actually to know, just be kind to each other? Isn't that a little sad? She smiled and she said, it's very sad. Yeah, you're right. We can be good to each other. We can be very nice to each other. Let's do it. Let's just not throw our own humanity, our own love by the wayside. Let's initiate goodness. Let's seek it. Let's make it social change for the good. I don't care about politicians. Everyone is such a whiner. I'm sorry, but the United States of America, and by extension the rest of the world, is just a bunch of whiners. I have a microphone and I have a camera. They're not expensive anymore. Everybody whines about the other guy. You see, elected Biden. What do you want from him now? God decides who runs the country. God instills the leader. Shut up. Get off the social media. Go visit some old man or old woman in the old folks home. Go to the hospital. Do good to someone. I'm not allowed to. Says religious laws according to the priest. I cannot go in there. So I go other places. I talk to people. When was the last time you talked to somebody you know? We'll finish with a story about the Rebbe. The Rebbe once had a visit where a lot of non-Jews came by on Sunday for the dollars. And one of them was an Italian man. And he said to the Rebbe, I'm very sad. I'm alone all the time. I don't have much to do. Rebbe says, Mister, you have a huge family. You have quite a few children, a lot of grandchildren, even great-grandchildren. Call them. Go to their activities. Connect with your own children. These are your family. The man looked at the Rebbe. First of all, how did he know that? We don't have to explain that. How, if you like, the deputy to Hashem knows. You know, it's the highest level of humanity. Of course he knows. He knows a lot of things about us. You don't want to know what tzaddikim know about us little people. And the Italian fellow went home, phoned his oldest daughter, and says, I went to the Grand Rabbi. He says, talk to her family. Wow, they're all happy. Those are very warm people. Family is everything to them. He came a few months later to the Rebbe and he says, Rebbe, I don't have time to breathe. I'm going to this daughter's dinner. I'm going to this and that, all kinds of ceremonies that belong to their religion. I have this grandchildren. This boy's just graduated. One of my youngest children has just given birth to a little girl. I went there. I have a wonderful time. They come once in a month or whatever. Some of them come, all of them come to my house. We have a dinner there. I have a life. That's the idea. There's so much good around us. Let's connect to each other. When I was little, I played basketball. Smart. Where am I? 5'4", 5'5", and the giants around me. But I was a playmaker. I moved them around. Let's connect to each other. Let's connect the dots. Bring out the real light. We all suffer unnecessarily. We all could do with the salvation. Anyone could look at it the way they want. But we all are in pain. And I'm very lonely without a woman. If you're watching this, young lady, stop hiding from me. Anyone who wants to be in contact, my email is oasisforthesoul@gmail. And for above all, before all, take a look at the people around you and do good, starting with yourself. Be lighter and nicer to oneself. If you have, I've watched all kinds of people. I walk around, I see what depicting. I feel sorry for all the women who abandoned their homes and ran into this terrible world, corporate world. Stressed, running from place to place. Mommy, may she rest in peace, from Brooklyn, Manchester. She was a psychologist. She went to study. I was surprised. She lost her son for a little career. Anyone who thinks of the career, men and women alike, it's just sad. We give ourselves all kinds of artificial competitions, artificial names and numbers, artificial titles. Human beings don't need that, but we certainly need each other. May Shevat, this Shevat, elevates us all to the highest level of godliness within ourselves that we can.